Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Mama Make You Up, a mummy of twins who loves to paint my face. Today we are doing a first impression video. I am hoping that it's going to be quite brief. I am looking at the Younique products, particularly their something quadruple line. It's the Fantastic Four, that's a movie, but the 4 bundle, something like that. I've never tried any Younique products before. My friend does selling for Younique and she encouraged me to give them a try. Specifically in the package that you get, the bundle, it comes in a tiny little box from Younique with some nice purple tissue paper, and it comes with their brush, a primer, a concealer, and the foundation. And this is called their Mineral Touch Foundation, and this is their Mineral Touch line, if you will. If you guys want to see what I think and you want to see a bit of a check-in later on today to see how this product wears, please keep watching. Okay guys, oh, so bright, so bright. Go ahead and prime my face the way I normally do. So to start off, because I have this lovely recovering zit here on the side, I'm going to go in with my MAC Light Full C, and this just helps soften dry skin, dry patches, particularly I find around zits that are recovering. So I just put that on a cotton pad with my Glow Mist from Pixi, because I really like to start off with a nice moisturized base. The first Younique product that I have to do a first impressions on, and that is their Younique Touch Glorious Face Primer at 40 mils or 1.35 fluid ounces. I understand that I only need a little bit. It's not open yet, without a hole at the top. Basically less than a pea size amount. Massage that into the skin. It feels quite oily, if you will. I'm used to using my more white cream base. It feels nice on the skin though. The foundation, and I'm so excited to try this. So this is their Mineral Touch Liquid Foundation. You get 0.68 fluid ounces or 20 mils. It's in a really nice glass bottle. Has Younique written on the front here, and this is in the shade Organza. So I was talking to my lovely friend back home about which shade I would be, and Scarlet is their lightest shade, and I'm pretty sure that that would be a bit too light for my skin. Especially with summer coming, I prefer to go with a darker foundation, and then I can always lighten it because I do have a foundation lightener. Just the dropper, and that's what it looks like in terms of coming out once you shake it. I've seen mixed reviews about the foundation itself, and a lot of people who have applied it on their hands and it looks really watery. I think what could happen is if you don't shake this up properly, it does separate maybe a bit and has more of a liquidy texture. I'm also going to use this brush, which is what Younique says to use with the foundation. Obviously you can go with whatever you'd like. It reminds me of the NYX brush that comes with their drop foundation. NYX has one where it also has a little hole in the center of the brush where you put a bit of the product, and so I'm going to use this on one side of my face and use my beauty blender on the other to see how they apply. Brush actually on this side, and on my right side I'm going to use my beauty blender. You shake up the foundation lots. I think Younique has some kind of proclamation where 5 drops will do your entire face. Now this is not advertised as a full coverage foundation, so I don't expect it to be, but I do believe it is buildable. So I'm going to add a few drops on my brush here. Technically I actually have 6. So that is what it looks like in my brush, and I am going to go in color wise. This definitely looks more yellowy offhand, but again I can lighten it if needed later on. So with those 6 drops, I could have tried to spread it more, but it's basically covered just my cheek with all of that product. And do another 3 drops on the actual brush, and I'm going to do my forehead. The yellowness that it looks like when you first apply it, when I first put it on as a color, it blends into my skin color well. So it doesn't look really yellowy, even though out of the bottle, when I first apply it to my skin, it feels yellowy. I believe that this foundation is said to be kind of almost dry down to a powder finish, and I can already tell that the way that it's applying. So you can probably see the difference in redness in terms of coverage right now on my chin. It definitely is helping cover that area, which I do have redness around my chin and around my nose. I tend to like dewy finish foundations. However, if my skin is well moisturized, I find that I do warm up to the idea of more matte finish or powdery looking foundations, because as long as they don't grab onto the dry patches on my skin, we're golden. It doesn't feel overly tacky on the skin. The brush did a really nice job. The brush is very soft. I liked it. I wasn't sure how I would like it compared to my Morphe Y6 because the size difference, for instance, on these brushes is quite substantial. Go in and put some foundation on the back of my hand and use my beauty blender. More liquidy foundations, usually a beauty blender isn't the way to go because the beauty blender will soak up all the product. I decided to leave that zit as it was just to see what coverage looks like without me using any concealer. So in terms of first impressions on the finish, I definitely prefer a brush of some sort. Their brush looks really nice in terms of my left-hand side. That's where I use my brush. I do find that the Beauty Blender, like I said, it absorbed a lot of the product and it made it a bit patchy. And so what I'm actually going to do is see if I can build up coverage a little bit on both sides using the brush again. And I'm gonna go in with 4 here. I don't know if it feels buildable per se right now. It seems to be slipping around on my face a little bit. I'm going to go in, as always, with my Beauty Blender and just pat things in all over. I am noticing that it's settling into my line right here. The last actual product I have now that we have our foundation on, I'm going to go in with their concealer. So this is the Mineral Touch Skin Perfecting Concealer, 0.34 fluid ounces or 10 mils. So it actually is literally half of what you get in the foundation. That's what they look like. This one's in a glass bottle. The concealer is in a little plastic bottle like this with a top that just screws off, and that is what the tip of it looks like. I went in the lightest shade then, so my foundation is an organza. The second lightest shade, this is Scarlet, so this is the lightest shade that they have in general with their line. It's very thick, as you can tell, so I'm going to start with that amount. The concealer is quite light. I do still have blueness that I can see through the concealer. It definitely has more of that powdery finish to it as well, so it's not a dewy concealer. Crease-wise, it creases just like everything else does when you have lines under your eye, so to me that's not a big deal. Looks a bit drying on my eyes right now. My eyelids do tend to get dry, so for whatever reason this formula does look a bit dry. My eyelids are a bit unpredictable though when it comes to how dry concealer looks. So any concealer could look dry on my eyelids sometimes. It just depends on how my skin is doing that day. I like that it seems consistent with the powdery type finish that the actual foundation has. If one was really dewy and one was really matte, that would obviously not make a good pair. The concealer does just feel a bit drying on my eyelids right now. But once we get makeup on, that's not necessarily something you're really gonna notice. It doesn't look overly dry under my eye, which is probably the most important part. Let's go finish the rest of my makeup and I will be back. And then at the end of the day, I do have some work that I'm doing tonight until about 8:30. I will do a check-in at the end of the day. Right now, the time is 1 o'clock or so. Okay guys, so I kept you on a zoom in focus. I put on the rest of my makeup, so I just wanted to keep it zoomed in a little bit so that you could see how it looks more close up with the rest of my makeup. Overall, I feel like this foundation plays well with others. I definitely feel like it, of course, is a more matte finish. All using other powder products, it didn't move around underneath, which is a great sign, obviously. It didn't get cakey as I put on the rest of my makeup. The concealer, like I said before, does not cover all of the blue under my eye, which is fine. I probably could have tried to build it up today, but I decided not to. It isn't really cakey around my nose, which is an area that is iffy sometimes. I did put setting powder on the areas that I put concealer. I obviously glowed up my face a little bit. This is a nice foundation so far, and like I said, I will do a check-in later today. I do like the matte finish on my skin with where it is right now. If you do have dry skin, this could be a very borderline iffy product for you because it is not that forgiving on the skin. One thing I did notice that you guys aren't going to be able to tell in video is that when I brought it down my neck to try to bring the color so that I had consistency here, I do have a bit of an orange line from where it did settle into my skin, but it created a bit of a demarcation. So I just used my beauty blender and blended it out a bit. Overall though, I am really liking. We'll see how this wears. It has now been 7 to 8 hours since I first put on the foundation, concealer, and primer from Younique. Overall, I'd like to give this product, all of the products, a pretty darn big thumbs up. The primer is clearly keeping my products in place. My foundation has not moved throughout the day. I have gone out and done some errands. I've worked, been touching my face, kissing my babies, and things seem to be staying put. The foundation does feel really nice on the face. It doesn't feel heavy. There's been a bit of creasing on my lines in some places on my face, which is pretty typical with foundation. If you have a line, foundation will be drawn there. That's just the reality. It's science. Overall though, it feels nice to the touch. It isn't separating on my face. It's not getting cakey around my nose as I wore it through the rest of the day. The concealer, one major positive that I noticed though in wearing it today is that it's got pretty minimal creasing compared to a lot of the other concealers that I use. So that is a huge thumbs up. It's also not drawing to my under eye, which is a huge plus. And overall, like I said, the primer seems to be keeping things in place and the foundation feels really nice on the skin. I'm usually a big pro glow foundation girl, but I could be convinced with this product. And now I'm going to zoom you guys in for a close-up in terms of what makeup looks like right now. So thank you so much for joining me here today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments down below. Let me know what you think of these Younique products. My take home with this one is if you do have definite dry skin, it may or may not grab on those dry patches on your skin. I do not recommend using a beauty blender with this product. I definitely recommend using either their brush or your own kind of flat kabuki type brush. I have these two, the Morphe 439 and the Y6. Definitely recommend using a brush. Of course, just like they say, make sure that you shake this stuff up because if not, you will get a different consistency each drop that you use. Please subscribe to my channel, share the video, and let me know if there's anything else you guys want to see. I do have another first impressions video because I've been a little bit weak with ordering more makeup than I should. And I hope you have a wonderful and colorful day. We'll see you in my next video. Bye.